Alright, first step to this process is finding the place where you want to cut the new hole and actually cutting it. I'm going to take this cutter, has a sharp edge down here on the bottom, and I'm just going to spin it into the ground as straight as I can and cut about halfway down. So I want about half the distance there, and I'm going to pull it straight back up gently so that the plug now actually stays in the cutter. I'm going to go over to where the old hole was, as close to the hole as possible, pull this lever and push out that plug that I just cut. I want to be careful not to lose any of the dirt off of that plug because I'm going to need that later so that it stays level. Now I want to cut the rest of this hole out. So I lay this back down there. I'm going to turn it, try and stay as straight as I can because I want this pin to be level when I put it in. I got a little air bubble on top here that tells me that I'm level. So I'm going to keep that as lined up as I can. Cut it all the way down until I'm flush with the ground. Make sure my bubble's lined up. That's pretty good. And now I'm going to gently pull it straight back up, hoping not to lose any dirt out of the cutter. Okay, so I got the rest of the plug in there. Before I can put it into this hole, I have to remove the old cup. Okay, so now I'm going to put the plug back in the old hole in a two-step process. I have the plug still inside the cutter. I'm going to lay this down in there and pull the lever again to release that plug. Alright, and now I'm going to lay this plug back in here. I'm going to try my best to match up the grains. I can see that the grain of the grass is growing this way, so I want to match up the grain as best I can. And I want to sit this plug down in here. Now if I did this correctly, it should be a little high. That's okay because I'm going to stomp it down in. I want to firmly but gently stomp it down in. And when I'm finished, I want it to be a little bit below the level. Okay, now the last step is probably the easiest step in the process. I'm going to make sure that all the dirt is off the edge of the hole here so it's not in the way. I'm going to brush it down in there. And I'm going to place the actual cup down inside the hole first by hand and just slide it down in there till it's most of the way down, probably about halfway. And then I'm going to use this tool to push it the rest of the way down. And you'll notice there's a ring around here so that the hole is actually this distance, which is about 1 inch to 1.5 inches below the surface. So I slide that on there, push it the rest of the way down, and then I'm going to use my foot to set it, stomp it down just to make sure we get it completely set.